Now, you may have seen a very recent video from us where we speak about McLaren's upcoming upgrades and debate whether their hard work and dramatic internal changes at the team would bear fruit on track. And essentially, I say that if they manage to get their car into a sweet spot, then McLaren could be a serious threat. And well, it seems I was correct, but I did not expect the level of performance that we saw in Austria, and especially in Silverstone. When I spoke about serious threat, I was referring to them possibly challenging the likes of Aston Martin, Mercedes and Ferrari down the road. But based on Silverstone, if the track is in their favour, it seems they are the frontrunners to actually take the mammoth task of challenging the Red Bulls. And to think that after the first race in Bahrain, where they were pretty convincingly the worst team, that they are now the second quickest team on both quali and race pace is just incredible. Both Mercedes and Ferrari have been left scratching their heads, as McLaren of all teams are the ones to truly demonstrate how to turn a season around. But based on how 2023 has gone so far in regards to the fight for second in the Constructors, it's important to not get too far ahead of ourselves. Due to how close the performance of the teams are, the pendulum of pace has swung dramatically from team to team, almost on a race-by-race basis. And so, let's pick apart McLaren's British Grand Prix weekend and really understand where this pace has come from, and most importantly, if they can maintain this advantage moving forward. Now, before this season had even started, they faced a dramatic change that definitely wasn't planned, and that was team principal Andreas Seidl leaving the team to join the new Audi F1 project for 2026. But thankfully, they quickly filled the gap by promoting Andreas Stella into the team principal role, allowing the team to smoothly transition into new leadership and keep on pushing. So the 2023 season began, and it was nothing short of a disaster. The lack of technical leadership meant they essentially failed to deliver a new car for 2023. Yes, there were some aerodynamic changes and mechanical changes, but their development from 2022 to 2023 paled in comparison to their competition. They were convincingly the slowest team at the first race in Bahrain, with many referring to the MCL60 as the orange tractor. So, in order to correct their current season and ensure stability going forward, they completely changed their entire technical leadership team. Technical director James Key was sacked and replaced by a three-pronged leadership model, with Red Bull's Rob Marshall heading up engineering and design, Ferrari's David Sanchez leading the car concept and performance, and McLaren's own Peter Prodromou managing the aerodynamics. So with this bold, innovative leadership model, they could now focus on delivering some much-needed upgrades for the MCL60. And well, after a few months, team principal Andreas Stella revealed their ambitious upgrade plans that included changing, and I quote, every aerodynamic part of the car, with developments being put on the car in 3 stages at the Austria, British and Hungarian Grand Prix. As we saw in Austria, the first upgrade plan was only fitted to Lando's car, as they only had the amount of parts for one car. And these upgrades included changes to the halo, floor, engine cover, cooling louvers, but most importantly, the side pods. The technical topic of 2023 was McLaren's main priority, with them releasing narrower side pod air inlets and giving the side pods a much greater undercut. This moves their design even closer to this year's Red Bull, which uses an aggressive undercut that all teams are trying to replicate. And well, on track for Lando, it was clear these upgrades did their job, qualifying 4th behind Max and the superior Ferraris, and then coming home to finish 4th as well, behind Max, Charles and Sergio. The main success was that he was clearly quicker than both Mercedes and Aston Martin on pure pace. The main question remaining was how Oscar would fare with these new upgrades in Silverstone. And so for the British Grand Prix, Oscar was given the upgrades Lando had, while Lando also got an additional upgrade package too. Essentially, Lando had 2/3 of the total upgrade package, while Oscar only had 1/3. The newer upgrades Lando was given consisted of a new front wing and nose cone, and then improved rear suspension and brake duct layout. And from what we saw on Saturday and Sunday, I think it's fair to say McLaren are back. In qualifying, Lando finished second, only 2.5 tenths behind Verstappen, but more importantly, Piastri was behind him in third, only 1/10 off of Lando. This was a mammoth effort by the McLaren boys and truly confirms just how significant these upgrades were, given Oscar has struggled to make much of an impact so far this season. And come the race, if it wasn't for a poorly timed safety car, it certainly would have been a McLaren 2-3, with the chrome-wrapped rocket ship proving best of the rest behind the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. But it seems McLaren aren't done yet. Team's principal Andreas Stella has confirmed they will still have another portion of their upgrade package to release, and this time on both cars. This means Lando and Oscar will both have the full 3/3 of the upgrade packages, which is a scary thought based on their pace in Silverstone. Stella has said this upgrade package for the next race in Hungary will focus more on improving their race pace. Now, you would assume this focuses on tyre longevity, given they have no struggles in initially getting their tyres up to temperature, as shown by Lando's fight with Lewis at the British Grand Prix. However, in what area of the car these upgrades will come, we're not quite sure yet. So yes, they were both strong in Austria and the UK, but both Lando and Oscar have warned that this is partly due to the upgrades, but also due to the inherent track characteristics of Austria and Silverstone. Both these tracks, specifically Silverstone, have high-speed corners, which really complement McLaren's strengths. Therefore, moving forward, we can expect their advantage at tracks like Singapore and Las Vegas to diminish where there are less high-speed sections. Lando has also said, despite their performance at Silverstone, that there are still inconsistencies when driving the car, specifically brake and throttle application in corners, saying that he almost needs to do opposite techniques from corner to corner. And so this is definitely something they'll need to iron out moving forward. Overall, these upgrades McLaren have brought have been an enormous step forward for the team and will undoubtedly allow them to keep fifth in the Constructors based on Alpine's recent struggles. Do I think they could catch the likes of Ferrari, Aston Martin and maybe Mercedes? Probably not. However, Lando has said the car has only addressed around 30% of its weaknesses, and so there's no saying that once they've corrected 100%, that they can't be a serious threat.